Good afternoon. Good afternoon. There it is. My name is Daniel J. Watts. I am a graduate of the BFA Music Theater Program, 2004. We roll deep, we roll deep. Thank you for having me. Thank you, families. Thank you, parents, guardians. Thank you, President Book. Thank you, Catherine Nealer. And folks. Thank you, Mama and Granny. There's a moment of vulnerability when a newly formed butterfly first climbs out of its chrysalis. It's done all that it's needed to do. Previously, a caterpillar, the thing that awkwardly is crawling around and all slow and whatnot, and then it puts on some weight. Let's call it freshman 15. Then it slowly begins to create a home for itself, a space for protection. And then through a series of events, it gets broken down, sometimes in very painful ways, I imagine. And over time, it begins to gather itself, to pull itself together. Perhaps it's recognized its purpose. Then it shifts and changes and then blossoms into this new and beautiful creature full of endless potential. But for a while, that's all it has, potential. Because once a butterfly emerges from its chrysalis, it actually can't fly right away. Actually, for a relatively considerable while, it has to sit and wait for its wings to dry. I imagine that's how a lot of you might be feeling right now. After not only braving through years of being tossed an onslaught of endless information, stumbling through the clumsiness of learning and unlearning all the things you thought were very important, and then somebody in their infinite wisdom decided to salt bay a full-blown pandemic in there just to spice things up a little bit. A lot was lost. Loved ones lost. Time lost. And sometimes you even felt like you were losing your mind. And now, to add insult to injury, you have all these pretty colors flowing out of your back that apparently can carry you into a greater tomorrow, but you can't do anything with them right now because they haven't dried yet. Oh yeah, this speech is going to mean different things to different people. Depending on where you grew up or how you were raised, even the mood you are currently in, some of you are still hung over. That's okay. I'm not going to judge you. You have earned every right to sleep through this entire ceremony. But for those of you whose full attention I do have, just know that no matter what I say, who you are today will determine how you receive this speech. In other words, this speech might hit different. Before I can imagine bestowing any kind of wisdom upon you, I think it prudent for me to tell you a little more about myself and my time here. In the fall of the year 2000, 21 years ago, Elon College was becoming Elon University. Thus, the fighting Christians were metamorphosing into the Phoenix, and some of us were really tickled that a school mascot that was previously based in Christianity was now being represented by a pagan bird. Elon was transitioning into its new self. But I wasn't focused on that, because it was the fall of the year 2000, and you couldn't tell me nothing. I had just graduated high school in the class of Y2K, aka Y2G. The world had not ended at midnight at the dawn of the new millennium as many had predicted. So as far as we were concerned, we were invincible. Nothing could break us down. As for me specifically, upon setting foot on this campus, I knew everything about who I thought I was, a little about who I wanted to be, and nothing about who I would become. After hugging and kissing me profusely and telling me they loved me, but to be careful, my mama and my granny left me in the safe care of a friend I'd known since birth. Though older than me, I'd always seen her as a precious yet precocious girl, the one who could drive me up a wall and simultaneously hold me in the palm of her hand. Only now she was more mature, a college veteran, a junior religious studies major, and the major reason I'd committed to coming to this school. And since I am on this stage, I have to say her name, Kimberly Ray Yergin. because she never got the chance to walk across this stage because she passed away unexpectedly in the summer of 2001. Yeah, I told you this was going to hit different. But before she left, she stopped me sometime around this time in May, at the end of my freshman year, just before I moved out of my room in Jordan Center, a student housing development that too is no longer with us, and she told me that God has great plans for you and that I would do great things. I can only imagine that this is one of them, being entrusted with the great honor of imparting a little wisdom and on the minds of the future, being gifted with this opportunity to maybe plant a seed with my words. But see, I couldn't see that at the time because loss became a thing that would cloud my vision. For 2 months after Kimberly passed, 2 airplanes were flown into 2 identical towers in New York City. The country was devastated. This campus was crushed. I was thrust into a stasis because my base was concussed, rocked to the very core. My options were very poor, either go numb, succumbing to pressure, or measure my life in more than what I thought was the end of the world. Right, y'all are good. Over the next 3 years, unbeknownst to myself, and due in large part to the loss I'd witnessed, Elon had become my chrysalis, a space for protection while breaking down everything I thought I knew about myself and slowly revealing to me who I was to become. And something inside of me was beginning to shift. Something was happening with the potential to lift. Maybe if I could catch a breeze, please, then I could drift. But wait, what good is growth if once it's grown, you can't use the gift? Oh, it's this. Just because you have wings now doesn't mean you have to fly right now, because this world isn't going anywhere. Sometimes the gift isn't the new growth. Sometimes the gift is having the time to remember and reflect how much you've grown. So before you rush and flutter off into this world anew, take the time to recognize, ooh, the wings that you grew. You grew wings! Y'all didn't have wings before. You didn't have them. Look at them. Show them off to your friends. Say, look, girl, they're nice, right? Hey, homie, you got wings, right? Me too. Don't touch them, they're still wet, right? Appreciate that. But one thing I need for all of us to acknowledge, recognize, accept, and respect while you're showing off your wings, and do show them off. Remember that some of you will be treated differently because of the color of your wings. Sometimes positively, sometimes negatively, and sometimes you will not be able to decipher which or why. Perhaps because of their brilliance, their vibrance, their shine, perhaps because of their expansion or the way they catch the wind. Do not retract them in shame. For we know for a fact there is more than enough room in this world for monarchs and swallowtails and meadowlarks and skippers. And if you ever feel like you are overcrowded or overwhelmed, give yourself the grace to go find a garden of your own. Go find some flowers where more fruitful seed has been sown. And whether you're on your own terms, bullied or windblown, own the fact that you might have to do it alone. But just remember, you've grown. Never forget what you went through here, inside your chrysalis. Never forget what it was worth, what it cost you, and never forget what had to die so you could fly. And then, and only then, when you are ready, spread those wings. Take them for a spin. See what the world brings as you dance with the wind. Don't just taste the sweet nectar of life, but imbibe, or at least try to sip it with pride. No matter what you decide, just promise me this: with your wings, you'll never hide. Say, I promise. I promise. My wings, I will never hide. Good, because I'll know if you've lied. You're all on my heart. You're all on my heart. You're all on my mind. And if ever in doubt, just know that I am by your side. Now, before you take off, take a deep breath, align. You'll be more than fine. You're important. You're divine. Be in awe, admire, marvel at your design. Now, go ahead. Start flying. Thank you.